Hey guys, good evening. So, I'm fairly certain my mother, stepfather, and father get sexual pleasure from my suffering. And I'll explain to you what makes me think that. So, I just called my mom, and obviously I'm very sexually frustrated. I haven't had sex in years, and I feel like I've been involuntarily celibate for my whole life. And I'm asking mom, like, what do you have to eat? Do you have anything to eat? And she makes like a noise like this. "Mm." It's like she was getting sexual pleasure from my suffering. It was like she was getting off from my suffering. I don't know. Somebody says Olivia Rodrigo. You really are feeling the constraints of your life, but kind of like how you thought, the woman, from the art class was Olivia Rodrigo. She's not. Your mother isn't getting sexual pleasure from your suffering. It's just what you suspect she's thinking, what you suspect she's feeling. Your mother isn't a sexual sadist who gets off from your suffering. So catch it, check it, change it. Somebody says Olivia Rodrigo. It's basically your mother and stepfather aren't getting sexual pleasure from your suffering. Kind of like how I thought that woman was Olivia Rodrigo. She's not. I think my mother's getting sexual pleasure from my suffering. She's not. Am I really suffering? Yes. But my mother isn't a sexual sadist who gets off on keeping me in a metaphorical chastity belt. It's my responsibility to meet a woman. My chains are internal, not maternal. Somebody says, I know you were being a bit horrible on the phone, but if I said those thoughts about you, you'd be angry at me. I was talking to. I feel like my mother and stepfather get sexual pleasure from my suffering. Like I'm really sexually frustrated. I haven't had sex in years, and I've been involuntarily celibate for like my whole life, and I feel like they're just fucking sexual sadists who are depriving me of sex. But it's really my responsibility to meet a woman. Somebody says they don't get sexual pleasure from your suffering. You're projecting your frustrations onto them. Fair enough. Fair enough. I really am suffering, but my parents aren't sexual fiends and sexual sadists. They don't get off that I'm involuntarily celibate. They aren't fucking sadists and monsters. Somebody says they can't make you do anything besides take your meds. I feel like my mother's a fucking sicko and a fucking sexual sadist. I really do. I feel like she is. But they say they're not. I'm projecting my frustrations onto her. Somebody says she ain't, and neither is your father, and neither is your stepfather. Nobody's getting sexual pleasure from your suffering. Or let's call my father for the medication. Let's call my father for the medication. It's about that time. Hey, I'm on with. Mute the TV, and I'm on with the inpatients. Mute the TV.
All right, we'll do that right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna take my medication.
Oh, good.
Okay, I'm taking the Abilify now. And I'll go take the Lamictal. So I got a question for you. And can you answer it honestly?
Yeah.
Do you think you, Mom, or Dale get sexual pleasure from my suffering at all? Like the fact that I've been involuntarily celibate for my whole life. Do you think anybody gets sexual pleasure from my suffering?
What does that actually mean? A sexual pleasure?
Like you get off that I'm really suffering, that I'm involuntarily celibate, that I've had like no romance for my whole life. Do you get off that I really?
No, I don't think anybody would be able to get any. What did you say? Sexual pleasure?
Yeah, I'll explain to you. You know what triggered this. So so obviously I'm really frustrated. I'm really suffering. So I feel like I haven't had sex for my whole life. And I was talking to Mom, and I was expressing my frustrations with the foods, and she makes like a noise like this. And it sounded like she was sounded like a sexual moan in a way. And maybe I'm just projecting my sexual frustration onto Mom. Maybe you, Mom, Dale aren't getting sexual pleasure from my suffering. That's just how I feel, because I really do want sex and intimacy. It's projection. I really am suffering, but you're not a fiend or a sadist. Mom's not a fiend or a sadist, and so on. It's just nobody's getting sexual pleasure from my suffering.
You're looking at things that aren't there.
Right. Yeah, so I think the best thing to do is get out there, go to groups, try to socialize with women, and try to meet women, and try to get romance. Because realistically, my chains are internal, not maternal. Like, how is Mom going to meet me a girlfriend? So
exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why it's important to go out to, like, even though the pros didn't work today.
Yeah.
Because Nami wasn't involved. It's important to go out to and then you're going to go to pros on Monday to meet. I'm not going to give her name out, but
yeah, it's stupid.
So I mean, those are the important steps that you should be taking.
Right. Yeah. So
you agree?
Yeah, I agree. I just try to go out there and socialize with women, and Mom built me this apartment so I could bring women over. Like right now, you're licking your lips, and I realize that's not an indication of you getting sexual pleasure from my suffering. But yeah, I guess really I want to socialize with women. I want to socialize with peers my age, not irritable elderly parents, hostily dependent, codependent, sexually frustrated. So somebody says a great catch here. Obviously, do I feel like I'm in hell on earth? Do I feel like I'm really sexually frustrated? Do I hate the dependency? Yes. But nobody is having me in a metaphorical chastity belt. All right. I guess I talked that out. Have a good night. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right. God bless you, Andy.
God bless you too. Love you.
Bye. Have a pleasant evening.
You too. Bye. Okay, so at least I talked it out. Somebody says, wee wah, that went well. Yeah, I took the Lamictal. I mean, I literally took the Abilify and Lamictal on camera. Didn't you see? I literally just took them on camera. Somebody says, yep, just went back and watched it. Good for you. Good for you, Andrew, for taking the Lamictal. Thank you, guys. Thank you. I'm going to read to you, Dr. Garrett. I've read that email 1,000 times. Somebody says, I like that, Andrew. You were honest with your father about... Now try to be honest with your mother. Obviously, I'm intimidated by my stepfather. I can't assert myself to my stepfather. I feel like, but yeah, it just doesn't matter. Try to get independent. Try to get a life. Try to get peers. Try to meet friends that are peers. There's this, yeah, baby steps. It just doesn't matter. I'm 37 fucking years old. I shouldn't care what my irritable elderly parents are doing. I shouldn't be hostily dependent. I shouldn't be codependent with them. It's just unhealthy. It's going to get better, guys. It's going to get better. I'm going to the pros program on Monday. Maybe I'll meet somebody there. Somebody says, don't make meeting a woman your sole purpose for going to the, the pros program. Go there to further your mental health recovery, to get independent, to get a job. Make your life happen. Chiba says, heck yeah, man. Make your life happen. Heck yeah. Yeah, enough of this. Enough of this. It's time for me to make my life happen. And stop getting stop projecting my sexual frustrations onto my parents. They aren't getting off that I'm involuntarily celibate. Oh, all right, guys. I think I'm gonna get going. I think I'm gonna go to bed. I realize it's fucking 7:23 p.m. on a Friday night, but just go to bed. Just go to fucking bed. What else is there to do? It's eerie. So he says, "You're going to bed so early, 7:23 on a Friday evening? Like, what the hell is this? Why are you going to bed at 7:23 on a Friday evening?" I don't know, guys. So Peter says, I'm not mad. Don't read it angrily. But why are you going to bed so early? Erie asks, what's new, Andrew? Same old, same old, same old. I think I'm going to go to bed. Peace out, my amigos and amigas.